Hey, what's up everybody, it's your boy Ryan here. So today I'll be doing What If Izuku Had All For One Part 18, so let's begin. Stella was sitting in the living room watching the battle on the TV. She saw how it was going and she knew Izuku would win because he always won in the end, but for some reason she had an ill feeling in the bottom of her stomach and Hitoshi had it as well. Mom, something is going to happen to Dad, isn't it? Hitoshi asked, and she nodded her head. Hitoshi always liked to joke around about them being his mother and father, but in this moment you could see that he truly did see them as his parents, since they showed far more love and care for him than other people did. As the battle went forward and switched from the bar to the warehouse, the feeling only got worse. Then it happened. As All Might was getting pushed back and defeated, his skinny form was revealed from the world to see. Damn it. The man should have left it if he was that close to his limit. Stella stated in anger, but the feeling didn't go away. The feeling of dread, and as the battle moved forward they saw the Nomo go from the killing blow on the symbol of peace, and that is when Stella fell to her knees. She saw Izuku standing between the Nomo and All Might with the creature claws going right through him. And we can hear screaming Stella and saying, "Why did you do it for that man of all people?" Stella yelled out as he broke down in tears at seeing Izuku being impaled. Even though she knew he had the healing quirks, it didn't mean he was immortal. Izuku was just as killable as everyone else, with just extra steps required to do it, and she was scared of seeing him like that. Hitoshi fell to the floor as well and was in shock seeing what he thought was an invisible father being impaled. He is so sleeping on the couch when he gets home for this crap, Stella stated, and she calmed down a bit but was still in shock. She then hugged Hitoshi, who was still in shock and was afraid of losing his father, but Stella just reassured him that he had a lot of healing quirks to heal the damage but will be tired when he gets home, and Hitoshi just nodded his head but kept his eyes on the screen. With everyone in UA, Nizo was sitting in a large conference room watching the battle happen, and he with everyone else was in shock. They just witnessed All Might's form being revealed to the world, and the students in the room who tried to do rescue mission were in shock as well. Aizawa chooses this as a perfect chance for the educational lesson. "This is why you were stopped from going. You would have died going there, do you understand?" he yelled at the idiotic student of his and wanted to go and save Bakugo, who had already been saved by Izuku. They all nodded their heads in fear at seeing the sight they were seeing, while Izumi was hugging her mother since they were afraid of their family member dying. As they all sat there, they heard the order from the doctor on the TV and everyone's eyes widened in shock at what they saw. They expected to see All Might get killed, but instead they got Izuku standing in between the creature and All Might. "No, my baby boy, no," Inko crying out in shock and seeing her son impaled. Even though they were on the bad terms, she still loved him, even though she was a horrible mother. Izumi was sitting in shock and had fallen to her knees as Todoroki just hugged her and tried to knock her out of her shock but had no luck. The classmates were staring at the TV in horror as they watched the pro hero hunter, who was stronger than All Might, get impaled. Everyone around Japan and the world watched as Izuku pulled the claw out of his stomach and a large number of shadow raised from him. They could hear him talking from the TV, since the camera crew got the courage and got a bit closer with their helicopter to be in range. "Damn, that hurt. No matter, it's time to stop holding back, but let's hope there is something left to identify your body, doctor," Izuku stated, as everyone on the site felt a sense of pressure from Izuku as the shadow swirled around the wounds and moved away, and everyone saw he was perfectly healed up. "Oh, your quirks allow you to make your body more or less shadow itself. That is how you made the clones of yourself out of shadow, isn't it?" the doctor asked, and Izuku chuckled at the doctor, misunderstanding but didn't correct it. Izuku then grabbed the Nomo face and his eyes widened a bit and then boom, the Nomo exploded and the shadows burst out of it as Izuku had fed it a large number of shadows and was forcing the body to expand from the inside outward, which caused it to break apart. "What did you just do?" the doctor yelled out, and Izuku chuckled as the shadows swirled around him and made large wings on him and what appeared to be crown. "I stuffed it full of my shadow until the body couldn't take it anymore and exploded. I'm going to do it to each and every single creature of yours, and then I'm going to do it to you, Doctor. You pissed me the hell off," Izuku stated with dark tone as he dashed forward, and the doctor ordered the Nomo to stop him, but Izuku created the scythe out of the shadows and just cut right through them as he grabbed them with a hand and forced shadows into the bodies, exploding them. Everyone was in shock at this overwhelming power, but Izuku didn't care as he was after the damn doctor and Izuku wanted to end this damn mission. The doctor was getting afraid and decided to leave. "We're leaving, pick up the knocked out man and group together now," the doctor yelled, and Izuku heard it and yelled out that he wasn't letting them escape as he created shadows cloned to deal with the Nomos and charged off toward the doctor. One Nomo tried to get in his way, but out of nowhere came Endeavor, who slammed into the Nomo and set it ablaze, causing it to die. And that damn doctor already," he shouted, and Izuku smirked. "With pleasure," Izuku yelled as he made his scythe again and used some of the quirks to make him faster and appeared right in front of the doctor and slammed right down on the doctor, cutting him in two pieces. However, the doctor's body switched out with another person, and it was none other than Dabi that got cut in half. Izuku looked behind himself and saw the doctor standing where Dabi used to be. "Oh, Doctor, I can go through them all if I need to. I will not be letting you walk away from the alive since you will cause future issues," Izuku stated with a dark tone as he narrowed his eyes at the doctor. The doctor yelled for the league members to stop Izuku, but as they looked at Izuku they raised their hands to surrender since they didn't want to deal with him. They had just lost Dabi and a lot of the Nomos. There was only one main Nomo left, which Endeavor was currently killing off by burning its head off, which stopped them from working. Izuku walked toward the doctor and the doctor crawled backward. He didn't have enough time to call his Nomo to teleport himself and realized his critical screw up in not having a second escape route since he underestimated him. Then he saw how Izuku ignored the other villains once they surrendered and decided on a new plan. "I can escape later on somehow if I surrender now," the doctor thought, and his plans would have worked, but he didn't know he had a kill on sight order from him, and Izuku was going to kill him one way or another. As Izuku raised his blade to end the fight, the doctor yelled out, "I surrender, I give up." He yelled and Izuku blade froze right in midair. The damn coward realized I can't kill him on live TV with him saying that. Izuku thought, "Fine then, don't fight, arrest become the moment you do, you die. Do you understand?" Izuku asked, and the doctor nodded his head with a smile on his face as a police and the other hero charged at the sight. As the doctor was loaded into the police van, he didn't mistake Izuku's smirk that Izuku sent his way, and the doctor shivered at the sight. What the doctor didn't know was that Izuku had a crow flying into the air with a perfect angle to see inside of the police van due to it being nighttime. Well, there was quite a bit of shadows caused by a moon that night. As such, the moment the van drove away and was distant enough distance, Izuku attacked it with his shadows and ended the doctor's life, but not in the same way he did with Shigaraki. He made the shadows travel up to the doctor's body and pierce into the body and grip the doctor's heart and made it appear as if he had a heart attack. It was an understandable thing to happen after such a large adrenaline pumping fight, especially with the doctor being as old as he looked. After Izuku confirmed his shadows that the doctor's heart stopped beating, he waited for several minutes to confirm that would be unable to be revived. He pulled his shadows away, pulled his phone out, and texted that Shigaraki was dead and the doctor as well. The UN and American official asked how since they watched them to be put into the vans. Izuku smirked and explained how Shigaraki died the first time and that the authorities thought he was knocked out from the bar, but in truth he was dead. dead, and they would find out when they checked him at the prison. He then explained how he ended the doctor's life while he was being transported in the van, and the official thanked him for the work. They also told him that they wanted an update of the entire case in a day or so when he had gotten some rest and anything was gathered from the leaked basis so they could decide how the case will be moved forward. Izuku told them via text that he would alert them when he was ready, and he pocketed his phone. Izuku looked around and saw all of the damage and destruction, but he also saw all of the cameras pointed at him, which made him shake his head. Good thing my mask didn't break. However, I know Stella is going to make me sleep on the couch for getting impaled portion of this fight. Izuku thought as he walked around the battlefield. The media was trying to get him to answer some questions, but he ignored them. Izuku made a large number of clones and just sat down as he ordered them to start searching for survivors. God, this is taking a lot of energy out of me, Izuku muttered. Everyone thought was impressed that he was helping on the search and rescue operation as his clones got to work on finding people. In truth, Izuku was using his clones to find the people hidden under the rubble so they had better chance of surviving since the other would take time to get to them, and Izuku was also using this as a way to avoid going home to get yelled at. So it's been a few days since the battle that has been dubbed as the Camino World incident, and let's say it was a fun 2 days since Izuku was forced to sleep on the couch by Stella, who will glare at him for taking the blow for All Might. Hitoshi was zero hell for Izuku as Hitoshi was also pissed with Izuku, which made matter worse. They both understand why Izuku did it, but they still didn't like or agree with him having it done. As such, Izuku had to spend several nights on the couch as punishment, which made him super tired since he couldn't sleep that well without Stella near him. He always found that he could do a power nap fine without her when he wasn't on bad terms with her, but when he was, it was like his body just refused to meet his needs and joined in on a punishment with him. It was a complete betrayal, and Izuku hated it, but he accepted it, and by the end of the second day he was back in bed with Stella and was able to sleep. Now, outside of him being punished, Izuku had learned the location of the other Nomos factories and the heroes already them without Izuku getting involved, since without them being ordered they shouldn't have any trouble taking the Nomos out, and he was right. As such, Izuku reported back to his bosses in America and the UN that his mission was complete, which brought up the issue that Izuku was having as he sat in the living room with Stella and Hitoshi. So, as you both know, I'm assigned to Japan due to my case. With my case now being done, the officials in the UN and America are asking if I want to be resigned to America or what I want to do, so we need to decide, Izuku stated, and they looked at him and asked what he wanted to do. Honestly, I would rather go back to America since I wouldn't have to deal with everyone from my past, in all honesty, but you two have friends here now. I don't want this to just be about me, Izuku stated, and they nodded their heads and thought it over. Hitoshi honestly didn't care since he didn't exactly have friends outside of Stella and Izuku, who were also his parents. He was more or less just existing inside of 1A and hanged out with Stella's friend when they called him over. I don't care if we stay or go. Will I still be allowed to attend hero school in America? Hitoshi asked, and Izuku nodded his head that Hitoshi would be allowed too. The American officials have already said they would arrange for both Stella and Hitoshi to attend the school in New York, which made Hitoshi happy. Izuku then looked at Stella for her opinion. I like the friends I made, but I also kind of want to go back to America so we can be with our parents there. Also, the fact that we likely aren't well liked by few classmates for exposing their plans to UA. So let's take few more days and decide on what we want to do, Stella suggested, and Izuku nodded his head at that and texted the official that they would need a few more days to decide on what to do, which they accepted. So soon another few days passed and Izuku was asked to attend a meeting at UA since the staff was talking about all of the recent events that happened. This is how Izuku found himself in the tense room with all of the staff who Izuku warned against doing the camp where they did it. Nizu walked into the room with the police detective Cernatai Grand Torino, and endeavor. Let's start this meeting, but let's hit a few topics first. I want to inform you all the doctor from the League of Villain and Shigaraki aka Tinko Shimura was born reported dead on arrival to the prison facility on the day of the battle, Nizu stated, and the room was shocked. Well, all except Izuku, Nizu, and the detective. Nizu noticed Izuku was shocked and decided to ask about it. Izuku, you don't seem shocked, as if you already knew. Nizu asked, and everyone looked at him. Nizu just looked at Nizu and shrugged his shoulder. Even if I did know, what about it? Izuku stated calmly. The detective decided to ask questions since there was an open police investigation trying to figure out when they died. Izuku, did you have a hand in their deaths? He asked, and Izuku looked at the detective. Are you asking a police detective or as my uncle? Izuku asked, and the detective tensed a bit and said as a detective, yes, then yes, I did. I did kill them all. Izuku stated without betting an eye on. Everyone was in shock. You all look shooked. Did I not tell you my mission was about the doctor and the organization? Izuku said, and they all nodded their heads, and All Might spoke up. That doesn't explain why you killed them. Heroes shouldn't kill easily. He stated, and Izuku rolled his eyes. Do you remember I am a special agent hero that worked for the UN? Those two were never going to walk away alive from this since they were deemed as a threat that shouldn't be kept alive. As such, I followed my order and removed them for good. Shigaraki died during the bar raid, and the doctor died during the police custody and transport to the prison. Nothing outside of my reach. The doctor knew I couldn't kill him in publicly but after he surrendered, but he forgot that I could do it the moment he was out of the public eye. The other league member had captured or kill order on them, but Shigaraki and the doctor both had kill on sight order for any special agent that came across them. Izuku stated as he took his tea and drank some of it. The room was tense and what they heard, but Nizu nodded his head. Indeed, we forgot you do your work as a special agent and would likely have received such an order from the start. Let's move into the next topic discussion. I am proposing dorms to be built for UA. Nizu stated, and they all nodded their heads in understanding, since it will help keep the students safer, since villains will be getting bolder with the fall of All Might. We need the homeroom teacher and All Might to go around all of the parents and ask for them to allow the student to continue to go to UA and move it into the dorms. Any question? Nizu asked, and no one raised their hands. Then they started to move toward the past event and fall out from them. At this point, everyone was tense a bit, since Izuku had promised to hold All Might Green Tornado publicly responsible for the event. Nizu looked at Izuku and he rolled his eyes. I feel as if you all accepted me to blow my lid, Izuku chuckled, and they all felt like slamming their heads on the table at his calm behavior. Anyway, I would love to take All Might and Green Tornado to the battling plate and publicly humiliate them, but my bosses back in America have asked me not to in fear of destabilizing Japan's society. As such, I had to keep my mouth shut. As a pro hero, but I was told I could sue you all as the parents of Hitoshi, since that is my right, Izuku stated, and they all tensed since getting sued will screw the school right now and likely force the school into a very tight spot they can't recover from. Nizu looked at Izuku and Izuku at Nizu, and Izuku sighed. Sadly, I wouldn't like to ruin my uncle's school. Also, it's doubtful that Hitoshi, Stella, and myself will be staying anyway, so it's not like it's matter, Izuku stated as if just didn't drop a bombshell on all of them, as I was set up straight and asked Izuku what he meant, but Nizu knew. Your case is over, so you've been asked to return to America, haven't you? Nizu stated, and Izuku nodded his head. It is my decision on returning or not. Hitoshi doesn't care, since he doesn't really have friends in 1A or UA. Silla has some friends but also would like to see our parents again. As such, we are undecided as it stands on returning to America, Izuku stated, and Nizu nodded his head in understanding. The meeting was a bit tenser, but they moved on to some other topics such as All Might's retirement and how that was likely to impact crime rates and the future of Japan. So as the meeting went on, Izuku just wanted to leave, but he needed to stay soon, though it came to an end and Izuku returned to home and decided to just rest since he was still a bit tired. As such, he sat on the couch and joined Hitoshi and Stella, who were watching a movie. They asked him about the meeting and how it went, and Izuku gave them a summary of it. Overall, Izuku found it pointless, and Hitoshi mentioned how he didn't want to have to live on campus, nor did Stella want to live on campus since they would need to leave the home which they loved. Izuku agreed and said if they did stay, then he would ensure they are allowed to stay in the house and not forced on the campus. With that, guys, I think the next part will be the finale. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as I always say, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm, yada yada yada. I don't want to mess your brains with that things. So yeah, as I always say, stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and spend the time with the most precious people you have. And don't forget, when you go out, wear a mask. There is another COVID thing going on around. I think it's the fourth generation is going around. So yeah, stay safe and take care of yourself. And see you next video. Peace out. Bye bye.